Okay, good evening everybody and happy Tuesday. It was a crazy day on Wall Street. Extreme volatility. We had the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average positive, negative, pretty much throughout the entire day. But we have a couple things to talk about tonight. Most importantly, on Thursday, we are going to get the CPI numbers. Yes, the much anticipated CPI numbers. Now, the majority of analysts on Wall Street are predicting about a 7.8 to 7.9% increase again in the CPI numbers. So will this affect the Federal Reserve? Will this force them to raise interest rates a lot quicker? Will this force them to taper? We'll talk about that and more tonight on the stream. Joey's here. What's up, Joey? I see Cosmo Scary. Good to see you, Cosmo. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Otto is here. What's going on, Otto? Good to see you, my friend. Chris Beeman says, wow, a bit early tonight, Tom. Yeah, I think we're about 20 minutes early. So good to see you, Chris. I see Savi says, good evening, Tom and everybody. Good to see you. Shauno is here. Cosmo says, wow, the Empire looks great tonight. Yeah, the Empire is all different colors tonight, which is kind of cool. I think it is 3 distinct colors rotating on and off. I'm not sure the exact reason why, but I think we're going to give it a go. We're going to give it a go uptown, even though the internet connection hasn't been the best as of late, but we'll try it. I see Sally here, says, hello, Tom. What's up, Sally? Mike Lewis. What's up, Mike? Beta Mario says, hey, Tom, what do you think about propane prices going up? Yeah, so that's a good question, Beta Mario. We were talking about the crude oil futures contract, ticker symbol CL. I think we settled right at around $120, but have you noticed the action on that lately? You know, just pull up a chart of crude oil futures, ticker symbol CL, and you'll see all of these big shooting star candles. So I don't know, could the move be over? Could the move be at least taking a pause? Who knows, but we've been getting a lot of people on the streams talking about $7 a gallon gas prices at the pump in California. That's crazy. Chad Tucker is here. What's up, Chad? Good to see you. I see Santo here. I see Sebastian says, hi, Tom. Welcome, everybody. I see Christian Ryan says, awesome, going live in Midtown just as I pull out of Moynihan. Awesome, Christian. Good to see you, my friend. So we're actually closer near NYU, but we're going to be heading towards Moynihan. Deja Vu. Good to see you. Razzle Dazzle 786 says, hey, Tom, miss your skateboard. Can't wait to be back on it. I can't wait to be back on it too. So hopefully we'll be back soon. I see Fred X, the one and only Vinny Castellano from Staten Island. What's up, Vinny? What is up? Mike Lewis. What's up, Mike? Ruby Falcone is here. Says, hey, Tom and all mods. Hope everybody had a good Tuesday. We got Glenn Daly here. Lori E. We got a full house. I see Judy D. Welcome. Santos says, love New York City. What's up, Santo? So here's another one of the Tesla taxis, everybody, and it is open. Should we go in? We're not going to go in, but it does look nice. You know, we've been seeing a lot of Tesla taxis on the streams as of late. Hey, Joey says, got you on the big screen and beautiful picture. What's up, Joey? Good to see you. I see Judy D. Lee Arnold says, Tom, a gallon of fuel is £8 in the UK, which is $10.71. Oh my God, dude. You know, I saw a funny photo on Twitter. My friend sent it to me. And he said that if you look in the movie I Am Legend, which is the movie starring Will Smith, based in New York City, at least I think it was based in New York City, a gallon of gas cost about $6. So in many parts of the country, we now have higher gasoline prices than in the apocalyptic movie I Am Legend, if that's even possible. So I thought that was kind of funny. Judy D is here. Beta Mario Lewis says, woo, I bought more Tesla shares. Good to see you, Lewis. Yeah, we've been seeing a ton of Tesla taxis. I think if I were to ever get a car, I think Tesla's probably the only choice. You know, the icing on the cake is I think especially in California, crazy. Vinny Castellano, good to see you. From Staten Island. Hope you and your wife are well. Yeah, Cosmo Scary, it's time to get an electric car. Cosmo, do you have a car? Do you and your family have a car? I forget. I don't think you do. DJ Mike says, greetings everybody. What's up, Mike? Welcome. You know, I think we actually may get a little bit of snow, surprisingly, tomorrow in New York City. Let's hope not, but supposedly. I see the ABX girl joining us from the Bronx. Good to see you, ABX girl. Hope you're having a good day. Blanket is here, says hi. Good to see you. Samantha J says, greetings, Tom and everybody. Good to see you, Samantha J. See Lewis, Judy D. So we're gonna walk uptown, but I think we're gonna venture over to Park Avenue, because very seldom do we walk up Park Avenue. It is windy tonight, but not as windy as last night. We had a mini storm last night. Hey, G-Hope is here, says, yo, what's up, G-Hope? So this is East 10th Street. I think we're gonna make a right. Walk over one more block. Hey, Bonnie Hudson is here, says, good evening, Tom and everybody. Hey, Bonnie, happy Tuesday to everybody. Elizabeth is here. What's up, Elizabeth? Joey says, Tom, gasoline is $4.19 in Florida. That actually sounds pretty cheap, I guess, depending on where you are in Florida. Felix says, hey, Tom, what's up, amigo? What's up, Felix? Welcome. We're just talking about the crazy gasoline prices, and we were talking about the extreme volatility in the market today across the board, but also the crude oil futures were very volatile today, too. I think we got all the way up to about $130, settled back down near 120 or 124. Oh, War Walker, don't say that. Geez, War Walker's like, Tom, I think crude will hit $200 a barrel. You know, there was a report, I believe, from JP Morgan saying that some of the analysts there believe that we could go as high as $180. But I don't know, it seems like the analysts are raising their price targets every day. I think we could be facing a little bit of euphoria here. But we'll see. But good to see a War Walker joining us from the 305. Hope you are well. Hey, Santos says, yesterday was pouring, raining. It was crazy. Beta Mario says, Tom, what do you think about the Europe's current net worth? Could you rephrase that question, Beta Mario? I'm not too sure what you mean. Hey, Emilio J says, Tom, I suspect we're careening into recession now with the oil sanctions. What do you think? So Emilio J, that's what I wanted to talk about briefly on the stream, because if you guys got a chance to take a look at the Behind the Street newsletter that I just sent out last night, I put a chart, overlaid a chart of crude oil to the S&P 500, and every single time we've had a major peak, or some of these blow off tops as you call them in crude, we've had significant stock market declines. So if you remember in 2008, you know, crude oil really went off on one, really went off into like a frenzy blow off top. And then, well, you guys could fill in the blanks on what happened after that. So take a look at that chart. If you type !news, NEW, the Nightbot will drop the link to the Behind the Street newsletter, and it's about a third of the way down the page. Take a look at the chart. I overlaid the ticker symbol CL, which is the crude oil futures contract, over the S&P 500. I see Autumn Z, good to see you. Welcome. So this is East 11th Street. It's a very busy neighborhood, but also very good food here too. Hey, Game Deck, good to see you. Lewis's gas is crazy here, Tom, in Los Angeles, $6.09. Well, actually, Lewis, that's actually probably one of the lower targets we've actually seen on the stream, especially from people in LA. You know, we've been having a lot of people from Los Angeles say it's almost $7. Hey, Tyler Silva says, hello, New York. Tonight is International Women's Day. It is. So happy International Women's Day to everybody. Hope you are having a fantastic night.
Remember.
Good to see you, Tyler. Brian says, hey, Tom and everybody. Good evening. What's up, Brian? Welcome. Hey, Lori E says, I enjoyed the newsletter last night. You have a nice writing style, Tom. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm trying to incorporate the writing style, sort of how I talk on the streams. So we'll see. I'm still doing some beta testing with it, but I appreciate everybody reading. Hey, Tim says, good evening. As a long-distance cyclist and environmentalist, I think reducing U.S. oil production should have waited until an alternative energy source was more fully developed, says Tim. So, Tim, I agree with you 100%. So if you type !power, POWER in the chat, there's an unbelievable article in the Wall Street Journal where two of the journalists actually took a deep dive into the US power grid and sort of outlined all the problems we're having. And Tim, I think you would find that article extremely interesting because they talk about, look, I think everybody agrees that we need to start going towards renewable energies. Everybody knows that, but I think we need to do it in a sustainable way where we're not just pulling the ripcord on crude and on gas and on natural gas. So check out that article. I think you're gonna like it. But this is 2nd Avenue now. This is 2nd Avenue and East 11th Street. Hey, Soho guy is here. Lori is here. What's up, Lori? Adam says, good evening from LA. What's up, Adam? Do you foresee interest rates going back down when the supply chain subsides? Well, what I hope is that interest rates actually go up. Because I think we need a little bit of a cool off here. But one of the interesting things that we've seen from Fed Chair Jerome Powell is it looks like he's going to raise the interest rates about 50 basis points, which is really nothing, and it's not going to do anything to fight inflation. But if we look at historical trends, I mean, I remember a month ago we were doing a stream where interest rates ticked up. I believe the 10-year got over 2%. And there was a big article, front page of the Wall Street Journal, about how 30-year U.S. mortgage rates cracked 4% and it's going to crash the housing market. It was just such nonsense. I mean, even a 4% rate on a mortgage on a 30-year fix, that's extremely low. That's a really, really low rate. And I think it's just our economy. We've gotten so addicted to this artificially low interest rate environment and all this cheap money that anytime we get a 2% 10-year or 4% 30 fix, everybody starts freaking out. But hopefully rates will go up. But what do you think? Hey, Tim says, Tom, I have seen that article. I agree 100%. I thought it was really well written. I thought they did a good job. Hey, Fred is here. What's up, Fred? G Hope says, I had pizza delivered today, gave a $20 tip, and then realized I didn't cover his fuel costs. Oh my God. Do you think small businesses are going to start charging delivery fees? Especially in more rural areas. Sanjib is here, says, hey, Tom, gas prices are extremely high. Fred says, hello from Boston. Hey, Fred, good to see you. Emilio J says, you can never expect our government to have their priorities in order, unfortunately. Agreed. Humane, it says, good evening, Tom, good to see you. Herbert is here, and my friend Matthew P. Good to see you, Matthew P. Says, good evening, Tom, old chap. And I see Soho Guy June says, my propane provider, Tom, changed my monthly budget pay to $816 a month. What? Am I reading that right? $816 a month. Jeez. Hey, Minraj. Good to see you, my friend. J.A. says, Tom, what is your opinion on the new mayor, Eric Adams? So I've given the opinion before on him. I'm optimistic that he's going to clean up a lot of the crime. But as you guys know, I tend to lean obviously more conservative in nature, but I always give everybody a fair shake. So Eric Adams isn't the guy who I would vote for, but now that he's the mayor, I think the city needs to give him the support he needs, and he's got it from me. So I support him, and hopefully he can clean up the city. So I support him. Lily Ray says, good evening, Tom. What's up, Lily? Hope you are well. This is Jack Daw. Never been here. Hey, Yashina says, was just there in New York City. Had a great time. Great seeing your videos. Awesome. Well, please come back to New York very, very soon. Samuel says, hey, Tom and everybody. Nice to join you on this live stream. Thank you for sharing. Samuel, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Mark Saint says, hi. I remember days when 4% interest rates was good news. I know. Well, I mean, did anybody listen to the newest podcast, the newest Peter Schiff podcast called The Peter Schiff Show? Now, I don't agree with absolutely everything Peter Schiff says, but I think he really nailed it on his last podcast, where he said, we've become so accustomed to all of these artificially low interest rates that we're going to have a hard time adjusting when rates go up. Hey, Lena Sandoval is here. Welcome, Lena. Hope you are well. Crystal says, wow, sharing that you're conservative is a brave thing to do these days. Yeah, I think these days it is, but I think on this channel, everybody's a reasonable and rational person. My views tend to lean more conservative, but I truly believe, no matter who wins, you got to give everybody a fair shot, right? That's the democratic process. The majority of people voted for somebody, and it does no good if we all start insulting and throwing names around. We got to be in it together. Yeah, Photos from Around New York says Margin Call is now on Netflix. Margin Call is a great movie. Really, really like Margin Call. Hey, Rothschild says, Tom, in Dallas it's $4 plus a gallon. Hey, Juan Vegas says, hello, Tom. How much further do you believe gas prices will rise? It's up to over $4.29 a gallon here in Broward County, Florida. So I'm under the impression that it could probably go up higher, but if you are a trader, right? So let's say if you trade commodities or something like that, I actually think you have more asymmetric risk to the downside. So I was looking at the crude oil futures contract today, and just pull up a daily chart of crude. It seems like there's extremely, extremely high volume, and I think a lot of these smart money are starting to take some profits on their positions, and I think you could see it very clearly on the chart of XLE. Now, maybe this is only a short-term top. There's been companies or money managers on Wall Street like Blackstone that has come out and said we are in for a commodities super cycle. So we'll see. Yeah, Cosmo Scary is like, so glad I don't drive right now. It's crazy. Hey, Fred says you have an excellent broadcasting voice. Thank you, Fred. I appreciate you being here. Mr. Buffett says, hello there, younglings. Good to see you. We're on East 14th Street, headed west. Hey, Daddy Bog says, good evening, everybody. What's going on? The ABX girl says, Tom, people will now have to consider work due to gas affordability, or they just cannot go to the office. That is true. So work from home now is would actually probably benefit. So ABX girl makes a great point. So ABX girl is like, so the Long Island Railroad, just to give you guys some perspective, the Long Island Railroad just started their peak fares again. So just as everybody's starting to go back to the office, we have crazy screaming energy prices. The perfect storm. Really crazy. Hey, Beyond the Matrix says, high gasoline prices will have a residual effect on overall prices and negatively impact most Americans. I agree. Unfortunately, I agree. So now we are on 3rd Avenue, everybody. Hey, Orland Edwards is here. What's up, Orland? He says, hey, Tom and everybody in the chat. Hope you're well. Hey, Roz999 says, Tom, driving to Nashville now, paid $4.19 per gallon in Buffalo and the $4.09 in the inner city. Wow. Hey, Edson says, where are you, Tom? Which street? So this is East 14th Street and 3rd Avenue. But we are going to head in west. Well, good to see you. 94 Sam 126. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, Crystal is like, I agree. I don't want any elected official to fail because that hurts us all. Agreed. Hey, Michael says, good evening from Southern California. Welcome, everybody from Southern California. Hey, Herbert. Thank you so much for the donation. Herbert says, Tom, people complain about gas prices and the lines are so long where I live in Colorado and laugh at the whining. Yeah, I think, well, Herbert, I think it's a multifaceted sort of issue here, but I think you're right. What I think the pandemic has done is exacerbated the wealth divide in this country, where anybody who's had the pleasure of working remote, you know, you've essentially kept your salary stable, or if not increased your income, when you never had to go into the office, pay for transportation or anything like that. But the people who didn't have the luxury of working remote, those are really the people who got a lot of the job loss, unfortunately. So I think you have more people better off now, but you also have more people that are worse off, if that makes sense. What do you think about that? But Herbert, thank you so much for the donation as we try to cross the street here. Somebody says, does anybody advise me to move to Manhattan? I miss it. It is so boring in Dallas. Well, if you miss it, you should come back. That's what I say. I've never been to Dallas, though. I definitely would like to visit, though. Soho Gaio says, hey, Tom, commodity supercycle is that code for robbery. Yeah, well, I think I put it, I forget what Nightbot command it was, but Blackstone came out with a report that they think we're going to head for a multi-decade commodity supercycle. I think wheat has been limit up for over five days in a row now. Something like that. Hey, Robert. Hey, Robert Parker's here. What's up, Robert? Says, hey, Tom, how are you, buddy? I'm doing good. Robert, long time no see. I'm happy you are here. What's up, Robert? You can see the Chrysler building if you look straight ahead. Ah, Herbert. Sorry about that. California, not Colorado. Apologize. Herbert, thank you for the $2 donation. You are very kind, Herbert. So check this out, guys. In the very back, this is the very top of the Chrysler building here. But what do you guys think? You think we're going to head for a commodity supercycle? Gerard Vincent says, did you misplace your good microphone? Yes and no. I didn't misplace it. It's just that I'm unfortunately an Apple user, and in order for me to use an external microphone, I need that mini dongle, and I lost the dongle, so I have to go get a new one. So I apologize for the lack in audio quality. Herbert, you're awesome, man. I appreciate you, dude. So this is East 15th Street, Irving Place. Hey, Jay is here. Good to see you. RJ says, let's all invest in gold now. So gold had a crazy good day. We are almost at new all-time record highs at gold. I think I did briefly write about gold in the Behind the Street newsletter. If gold cracks the highs in the new all-time high record territory. Hey, we have Kumar here. What's up, Kumar? Says, hey, Tom, good evening. What's up, Kumar? Welcome. This is Mary. Says the audio is perfect. Yeah, sometimes there's wind noise. Photos from around New York says, Tom, I think the economy is going into the red overall and the markets are worried. Yeah, well, today definitely was not healthy market action at all. The volatility was insane. I think we had something like a 400-point swing in the Dow. Hey, Gary says, hey, Tom, I had a CD that paid me 14%. Crazy inflation, age 70. Wow. You had a CD that paid you 14%. Jeez. That's unheard of. Hey, Robert Parker says, are you concerned with the tech stocks amid the Russian fiasco with Ukraine? Yeah, so I'm concerned for all stocks. Robert, I'm not sure if you got the Behind the Street newsletter I just sent out yesterday, but essentially I'm in my actively managed accounts, right? Obviously I have my IRA, in which case I just dollar cost average into the S&P because I'm 26 and, I think corporate earnings will increase by the time I retire. But in my actively managed accounts, I'm about 80% cash now and waiting for that follow-through day. Look, if you think about it, and I was talking to one of my buddies who runs a mid-sized hedge fund, and he's like, Tom, the reason why I think this market could go lower is because a lot of my clients aren't calling me. Usually when the market is in distress, clients will start to call the fund managers and say, hey, what's going on? My portfolio is going up and down. But if you think about the S&P, I think has been shielded by all of the high weighting in financials and energy, right? It's not chock full of financials and energy because the majority of the S&P is made up by mega cap tech. But if you look at the NASDAQ, I think we're 20% off the highs. And that's because the NASDAQ does not have those energy companies in the financials to keep it propped up. But if we crack the lows in Apple, I think we're going to make a new low in the S&P. Hey, Kashmir Funk is here. Good to see you, Kashmir. This is just passing through. The weather looks nice. Question is, what is the weather there? The weather is actually pretty good, to be totally honest with you. But we may get snow tomorrow. Fredex says, financially ignorant question. There's no financially ignorant questions. Says, buy low, sell high. Why are you getting into gold at the highs? Well, because I'm going to be playing it as a momentum trade. So gold has been in a massive, massive base for almost 14 years, maybe more. So if we crack those highs, the measured move on that is about gold 3,000. But I think the way I sort of think about this commodity cycle is if we have any very good news out of Russia, like the war is going to be over and Putin concedes and he apologizes to everybody, you're going to see all of these energy names reverse crazy hard. But that's a big if, right? That's a big, big if. I'm not a gold guy. I don't own any gold. My expertise is, since I work in enterprise tech sales, the majority of the stocks that I cover are enterprise tech stocks, are big software as a service companies. But if you have something emerging from a 14-year base, cracks new all-time record highs, the measured move on that is probably 30% higher. Hey, Cypress Hill is here. Says, greetings from Poland. Welcome everybody from Poland. Please be safe over there in Poland, please. Jeez. But good to see you, FredX. Cheeky Chops is here. Good to see you, Cheeky Chops. G Hope says, oh yeah, I've successfully received the newsletter. Very cool. Sebastian says, where do you go after you end the stream? I usually go right home and go to bed and wake up and I have to go to work tomorrow. Ahmed, good to see you. Welcome, Ahmed. Robert is here. Says, hi, Tom and friends. Good to see everybody. Photos from around New York says, how are the U.S. stocks compared to European and Asian markets comparatively? So I have a really good article for you to read. If you type !markets, MARKETS, in the chat, !markets, the Nightbot is going to drop a really well-written article out of Barron's that outlines just why emerging markets tend to trade at a discount to their American counterparts. So like the S&P 500 and things like that. I'm not sure the exact reason why, but at a speculation, I'd probably say it's geopolitical risk. Hey, Mike C. Good to see you, Mike. Hope you're well.
Yeah, all right, man. All right, good to see you. Yeah.
Ken Kramer says the Fed will use the war to print more money. Central banks drive the stock market. I think you're right, Ken. I think they're going to use it as an excuse to print. You know, the European nations will probably issue bonds and things like that. Hey, Dutchman says, good evening, Tom. Is your IG account secured? I hope so. Oh, because Action Kids was hacked. Yeah, I know. People are crazy, man. But no, mine should be good. Knock on wood. DWG is here. Good to see you. Cynthia Beale, welcome. Dean says, Tom, the European Union is supplying Ukraine with weapons and planes, and the U.S. is supplying intelligence, strategic. Let's defeat the corrupt, murderous dictator Putin. Glory to Ukraine, says Dean. Good to see you, Dean. So also, I didn't have time to really read into this article, but is it true that I think we are sending like fighter jets over there, but in order to get them over there, we need to fly them into Poland first? Is that true, or did I butcher that? Could anybody confirm what I'm saying? I apologize. I saw it briefly across Bloomberg that we're supposedly supplying fighter jets, but we have to fly them to Ukraine and then repurpose them or something? Or fly them to Poland? YT says, Tom, $7 a gallon here in downtown LA. Jeez, $7 a gallon. That's crazy. Photos from around New York says, yes, they are fighter jets. Jay is here, says, another day in paradise. Good to see you, Jay. Welcome. Atomic Skittles 876 or 678 says, Tom, what do you think about Biden announcing that U.S. will not be importing any Russian oil and that they will continue to raise gas oracles across the country? I think it's a good choice. The only thing I was a little bit concerned about Atomic Skittles is, did you see, I believe that the Biden administration requested a meeting with Saudi Arabia based to talk about the oil prices as well as the Ukraine situation. And I believe they denied the meeting, which is concerning to me because we sell a lot of weapons to Saudi Arabia. So I'm not sure why they would deny that meeting. Did anybody else see that? Hey, Sandra is here, says hello from Madison, Wisconsin. Welcome, Sandra. I hope you are doing good. Yeah, Kirk says the price of living in LA. I do want to go to LA. Maybe we'll go there this summer. I haven't been there yet. Supposedly it is a very beautiful city, expensive city, but I think it's still a little bit more affordable than New York. Hey, Cynthia Beale is here. Good to see you. Triple G says, hi, Tom, mods, and chat. What's up, Triple G? Good to see you. Chris M says it's Poland giving... got it. Giving the MiGs. U.S. is giving Poland some F-16s. Got it. So it's sort of like we're giving it to them, but we're giving it to Poland and Poland is giving it to them. I got it. Because since Poland is part of NATO, copy that. YA, good to see you. The ABX girl says it goes to Poland first. So excuse my ignorance, but does anybody know why it goes to Poland first? Is it just because they're part of NATO? Got it. Okay. So the United States can't directly give the jets to Ukraine, so it has to go to Poland, and then Poland has said they would give them. Yeah, I'm not a big political guy. Duke LaFrance, welcome, Duke. Good to see you. I see Roz999. Hey, Paranormal Witness Girl, good to see you. Our fellow Floridian in the house. Good to see you. I see Mike C. See the one and only James Davidson. Good to see you, Dave. Hope you had a good Tuesday. Already almost the middle of the week. Wednesday tomorrow. I'm kind of glad we took this way. Very, very seldom do we walk over here. So this is the Gramercy Tavern. Wow, this place looks really nice in here. Has anybody ever been to the Gramercy Tavern? Looks very nice. I've never been here. Hey, Ruby Falcone, it's good to see you. Hope you're having a good night as well. Cosmo Scary says you've been there. How was the food, Cosmo? Good? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Yeah, Robert says it looks busy. Things are getting back to normal, which is good. Hey, greetings from Poland. We have a lot of Polish viewers. Welcome. We usually don't get a lot of Polish viewers, but it's good to see everybody from Poland tonight. Juju Laura says, hola, Tom. Hola to you as well. PH, welcome. Photos from around New York says, Tom, I've passed it but never had an occasion to go. My old boss went there. Yeah, it seems like more of an upscale place. I tend to dine out on the Upper West Side. But then again, the restaurants on the Upper West Side are a little bit more affordable. Hey, Jim says Poland will then give Ukraine its Russian jets, which Ukrainians know how to fly. Good to see you, Jim. Thank you for the clarification on that. All right, so everybody, we are now on East 20th Street. And I had to come over here because I wanted to see the beautiful view of the Empire State Building. Hey, Jay, good to see you. Cindy Foley says thanks to Poland and many countries for helping Ukraine. Castillo says, Tom, I just came back from Mexico City from New York and I really enjoyed it. Well, please come back soon. Please come back very, very soon. We'd love to have you again. Although it's probably better weather where you're at. Is it better? Yeah, it's obviously better weather than Mexico City than it is here. So tomorrow is Wednesday, everybody, and we are going to have earnings from CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike is a cybersecurity company that I'm interested in. Not necessarily for an investment, but as we talk about a lot on the channel, we want to look for companies that are growing. Wow, check out this view of the Empire. Their earnings and sales. Also, not only for an investment opportunity, but it could be good for a career opportunity as well. So we will be breaking down CrowdStrike's earnings report tomorrow on the stream. Carol H says, hi, Tom and everybody. Good to see you, Carol. Welcome. Kirby says, the United States only imports 8% of Russian oil. That is about 300,000 barrels shipped to California. It would be silly to then transport the oil across the U.S. As a result, California takes the price hit. You know what? There was, we wrote about that, or I wrote about that briefly. There's a street that he claims that a lot of this sort of oil shock crisis is being a little bit overblown because I forget the exact amount. I forget the exact number, but I did link the article in the Behind the Street newsletter. And he was talking about the ratio of oil that comes out of Russia, was comparing it to the daily usage around the world in terms of barrels. And it shouldn't be that hard to overcome. Emilio J says, so McDonald's shut down operations in Russia today. Yeah, I think a lot of companies did. Starbucks shut down their operations in Russia. Rolex also shut down their operations in Russia. Well, check that out. Hey, Chris M says, good evening, everybody from the UK. I watch a lot, but rarely comment. What's up, Chris? Well, thank you for watching. It's always good to have you here. Cypress Hill says, Tom, nice walk. I love watching the walks in New York. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for being here, Cypress Hill. Dutchman says, Tom, let's not forget, today is International Women's Day. Yes, it is. Welcome to all of our great women in the chat. And happy International Women's Day. I'm assuming that's why the Empire State Building is lit up tonight. Am I right on that? Is the Empire State Building lit up for International Women's Day? But it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because almost every single company or every single major company now is refusing to do business in Russia. So it's either one of two things are going to happen, and this is why I'm a little bit nervous about it, and I'll sort of explain my position. It seems as if Vladimir Putin is backed into a corner here where he is totally isolated from the Western world. And do we know of another country that is sort of like that? Well, that would be North Korea. But I don't think the Russian people want to have their country turn into North Korea. And when you have a crazy person with nukes and they're backed into a corner, well, does he use them? I don't know. I hope not. But then again, anybody you ask, they says, hey, do you think Russia is going to use nukes? Everybody says no. You never know. That's the only thing that really, really is getting me a little bit on the fritz here. Hey, Mike C says, Tom, I saw a video of an IKEA open for the last day in Moscow. The line was hours and hours long. Yeah, you see, so Russian people are not going to be able to buy any goods and services. They're not going to be able to go shopping. They're not going to be able to do commerce. They're not going to be able to do anything. The Russian people are not going to put up with it. So you're probably going to have internal infighting and riots within the country. Hey, PJH says, I'm living in South Korea. Love South Korea. I have a lot of friends in Osan, near the U.S. Air Base of Osan Air Base. So welcome everybody from South Korea. Good to have you joining the stream. So we're directly under the famous Flatiron building. But it does have all scaffolding on it, which is a bit of a bummer. Hey, Lockjaw is here. Good to see you, Lockjaw. Hey, Brad's Brain says, isn't it a bit odd to see the entire corporate world eliminate a market like Russia? This feels like more at stake than simply doing the right thing. Now I'm a conspiracy guy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the whole situation is very strange. Is there any one country that is, to your point, that is backing Russia in this? Because I even think China came out about 2 weeks ago denouncing the invasion, although there was some rumors circulating that China actually told Russia to wait or hold off on the invasion until the Olympics were over. Stephanie Stanley says, I love South Korea. Same here. Hey, Michelle Henry is here. What's up, Michelle? Welcome. Lockjaw is here. Good to see you. James Davidson says, sooner or later his own people will turn against him. We'll have to see. So check that out. So we are now on the corner of 5th Avenue, looking at the Empire State Building, looking northbound. Hey, Jim Munchie is here. What's up, Jim? Hope you are well. So in this week's Behind the Newsletter, or Behind the Street newsletter, I see Latha in the chat. What's up, Latha? I wanted to say hello. You know, we were talking briefly about leadership, and I think it's important to, when we're thinking about investments, sort of sectors or leading the market. And unfortunately right now, it's a lot of the stocks that look a lot like Church and Dwight. And if you think about a company like Church and Dwight, what do they make? Well, they make toothpaste, they make baking soda, you know, any consumer goods. And these are a lot of the companies that a lot of the Wall Street money managers are piling into. So what does that really tell us about the health of the overall market? I mean, the only thing that concerns me is some of the smartest money managers on Wall Street, their biggest ideas right now are to buy companies like Church and Dwight. You know, that's not necessarily a roaring bear market when you have innovative cybersecurity stocks taking off. This really leads me to believe that a lot of very, very smart people on the street, or economists or analysts, are really thinking that, look, if we go into a recession here in the United States, what are the absolute last items that people are going to stop buying? Well, it's obviously toothpaste. People have to brush their teeth. People have to clean their house. People have to go to the bathroom. People have to buy soap. So you're seeing a lot of these consumer staple names. You're seeing a lot of names like Church and Dwight, ticker symbol CHD, sitting near all-time highs, when a lot of the other growthy names are getting killed. So that's the only concern for me. So when thinking about starting a new position, you know, we just have to keep in mind where the money is flowing. Oh wow, check that out. So you can see the Empire State. Hey, G Hopes, the Stickies is going to be on your right. So I actually ate dinner right next to the door there. I'll show you where I ate dinner tonight. Latha says, good evening. Good to see you, Latha. I see British Gray from Tampa, Florida. Welcome, British Gray. Hope you are well. Rachel says, do you think? I think the boys should. Jancy says, hey, Tom, great stream tonight. Have an awesome night. Thank you for being here. Chris M says, Tom, New York City is such a beautiful city. I've been twice. Can't wait to be. Hope you please come back. So I ate dinner tonight at this place on the left. It's called Dim Sum Sam. Very good spot. Highly recommend it. And it's actually quite affordable too. It's not too expensive. Hold on, I'll show you guys. So it's right next to Stickies. I've actually never been to Stickies, but I've heard great things about it. But right next door is Dim Sum Sam. Fantastic place. Has anybody ever been here, or is it just me? Maybe Cosmo has been here, or photos from around New York. DWG says, Tom, are you in the gold yet? Not yet. Not yet. Hey, Lockjaw says, Tom, beautiful shot of the Empire State Building. Thank you. Hey, Tony says, just look at 2008. The oil companies made record profits during our toughest times. They play on the instability of economies. When things settle down, you watch to see who didn't suffer. So Tony, I think that's the comment of the night so far. So Tony, I'm not sure if, I wrote about that exact thing in this week's Behind the Street newsletter. I actually overlaid a chart of crude oil and overlaid the chart of the S&P 500. And you could watch almost in lockstep, the market rolls over first, and then crude falls off a cliff. So if you want to read that article, if you type !news, NEWS, in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link. But you're right. You're 100% right. Yeah, Tony says more record profits and bigger bonuses for the boys. Hope you're doing well, Tony. Jim says people will always buy gasoline and cigarettes. That's another thing. The cigarette stocks are doing well, which is never good. So I think we're buffering. Are we buffering, everybody? DWG says the VIX is so high. I actually want to see the VIX spike more. You know, in order for this market to really bottom, I think we're going to need to see a VIX at like 55. Spiffy says it didn't work. So if you type !news, NEWS, the Nightbot will drop the link. So the Nightbot just dropped it. So it says sign up here, Behind the Street newsletter. It is the first newsletter that I just sent out. But if you punch in your email, you'll get it every week. I send it out every week. So I think we'll walk up Park Avenue. We very rarely walk up Park Avenue. Okay, everybody's saying we're good. Yeah, when we get close to Midtown, for some reason, we've been buffering a lot. The internet has not been good in Midtown Manhattan. Hey, AI is here. Says, hey, Tom, it's been a while. Hope all's well. What's up, AI? I hope you've been good. Everything's been good on my end. Just very busy at work. I may be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in about 2 weeks. So hopefully I'll have some time to stream from Philly. Cosmo Scary is like, I went to that Amazon Go earlier. So we're passing Fidelity Investments. Has a big, beautiful sign on all the scaffolding. Hey, Benjaminum says, hey, Tom, I watch you all the time, but rarely comment. Thanks for taking me along with you each night. Hey, thank you for joining. I appreciate it, everybody. Hey, everybody, look who's here. We got the one and only Alan Wilson. Good evening, everybody. What's up? Mike C says, Tom, please be careful in Philly. I will. Good to see AI Lockjaw's here. David says no buffering here either. Okay, good. Let me know if we start to buffer. I'm Spiffy. That is exactly what we do. We walk around New York City after work and just have a good conversation before I have to go off to sleep. Mike 940 says U.S. government is trying to take control of Bitcoin. Yikes. Are they really? I don't think so. I don't think that's possible. Although I did hear reports that Coinbase is trying to block some Russian users' wallets. We'll see if they have any success. Hey, B. Hilt says hi. Good to see you. Jancy says, Tom, let me know if you need any Philly cheesesteak recommendations. I do need them. And if you want to give me some recommendations on where to go when we're in Philly, please join our Discord. If you look in the links in the description of this video, feel free to join our Discord where we also network about how to get a job in tech sales, enterprise tech, software engineering, investment banking, private equity. Hey, CS says, love downtown Philly. Not even sure why I do, but I do. That's not bad. Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing a lot of mixed things about Philly, but I think I'll have a good time. I'm only going to be there for a day or two, though. I have to give some presentations to a client. Paranormal Witness Girl, good to see you. Laytha says, that was the teeniest bicycle I've ever seen that just rolled past. I think I missed it. Photos from around New York's like, Tom, gotta remember, whiz. So here's what I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna I'm obviously gonna fly in from Miami to JFK, and I think I wanna take the Amtrak train to Philly, because I wanna try to get a stream in from the brand new Amtrak lounge. Has anybody ever been to the brand new Amtrak waiting room at the brand new CS says, Tom, you're gonna have a great time when you go to Philly. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I haven't been, so definitely looking forward to it. Ahead, if we continue walking all the way up, you can see the MetLife building as well as Grand Central Station. But I think we may try to make a left on 34th Street. Hey, Ruby Falconis here. Says, oh, that would be fun, Tom. Good to see you, Ruby. Hope you're well. The temperature's dropping. I think it just dropped like 15 degrees. Freezing here. Daryl B says, greetings from Saskatchewan, Canada. I'm enjoying the streams. Thank you so much. And hit the like button. Appreciate it, everybody. So if you're enjoying the stream tonight, feel free to tap that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Lemonade says the Amtrak stream would be great. Yeah, so I mean, I have not taken the Amtrak in a very, very long time, but every time we try to stream in the Moynihan train station, the service is horrendous. It's egregious, but I think I want to try to get some standalone footage because it is totally new. It's completely redone. So I will do that for everybody when I take my trip to Philly. Hey, Nick Rock says, Tom, you should go to South Street. Really fun time there. Let me take a screenshot of that. South Street in Philly, are you talking about? Or here, because there's also a South Street Seaport in New York, which we always stream from, which is a great place. Hey, Triple G, what's up? Hey, Mech1164 says, yes, it's very nice. Wasn't anything to eat with CV, but the surroundings were nice. Very cool. Hey, Diane says, met my husband in Philly back in the late 70s. He was working at the 7-Eleven store. Very cool. Maybe we'll do, So here's the thing. I'm only going to be there on a Friday. And I have to go to like an event. I'm sponsoring like a team event. So hopefully I could try to duck out of that a little bit early so we could stream. Mike 940 says, Tom, the United States government is trying to regulate and stop cryptocurrency. So I actually think some regulation is good in the cryptocurrency environment. And the only reason why I say that is because if you want to have real institutional money managers allocating any sort of real assets to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, you're going to need regulatory clarity on that. Because a lot of the pension funds and even some big insurance companies, in order for them to really have a significant allocation, they need regulatory clarity on that. They're not going to take a risk if the regulatory clarity is not there. Hey, Gran says, hello everybody, it's looking gorgeous in New York City tonight. Thank you for your great info and sights on the stream. Hey, thank you, Grand, for being here. We're happy to have you along for the walk after work. Brandy says, happy to catch some of the stream tonight, Tom. Hope you are well. Right back at you, Brandy. I hope you're doing well too. It was a beautiful day in New York, but it's getting cold again. And we could actually have some snow tomorrow. Isn't that crazy? Very possible we may see snowflakes flying around. AI says, Tom, you've had new life changes over the last few months. Any new learnings, lessons, wisdom to share with us? Always appreciate your insights. So here's the biggest thing I learned. as a first time, I guess, home buyer and investment property buyer, don't try to do everything yourself. I severely underestimated the amount of work, and just in terms of manual labor, to dig up different pipes, to install new piping, lay a new sewer line and all this stuff. Like, it takes a lot of work. And, after like 3 hours of digging, you're like, okay, I'll take a little bit of a break. And then you realize you've only dug like 5 feet in one direction. You're like, oh my God, this is going to take a lot longer than I anticipated. So I would say just pace yourself.
You know what's crazy? Like over the years, if you're singing long enough.
Brian says New York weather in March is hit or miss. Quote from Tom. That is true. March is hit or miss. You could have a beautiful 65-degree day like we had 2 days ago, and then it'll be snowing and all craziness. AI says, good to know, planning to buy a new property, and I will take that into consideration. Yeah, so what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to plan out all my projects 6 months in advance. And I'm just going to work on it 2 hours a day. 2 hours a day, pace myself, I don't hurt myself, I can do it myself, and I'm going to save a ton of money by not hiring contractors or landscapers. WW says, don't worry, Tom, I was never even considering digging myself for a second. Hilarious. Hey, Juno says, you've been walking for a long time. You have good stamina and strong legs. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh yeah, so Jancy says, Tom, are you a dim sum fan? I am. Philly has some of the best. Huge dim sum fan. I actually ate that tonight. Hey, Diane says, you can also, and you also learn you cannot home repairs with a butter knife. That's true as well. I think we got a big scene going on here. Keep walking. So right in front of us is the MetLife building. Kumar says, my favorite Chipotle over there. Transfer says, it's not Tom walking. It's just someone he hires. He's at home doing the voiceover. Absolutely hilarious. And a good idea. Hilarious and a good idea. Alan Wilson says, it would be better to plan them 6 months in advance and then get someone else to do them. That's true, but also, so here's another thing I learned from being, not really so much I learned, but here's what I think is best. For me, I'm not really much of a handyman type person, right? In full honesty, I'm not embarrassed admitting that. So I think for your first investment property, I think it's best that you manage it yourself. So this is Wolfgang Puck's Steakhouse. But the reason I think that because if let's say if one of the toilets back up, if the roof is leaking, it's going to be a small enough property where you can figure it out yourself. So I think everybody should have some sort of knowledge on how to fix things themselves, whether that be making a minor repair to an HVAC system, doing minor electrical work. So I think that since the investment property is small enough, I'll be able to learn how to fix a house and get my hands dirty and do things myself, just so I'll build up that experience and just as something to practice on. So that I think is something I'm excited about. Has anybody been to that Wolfgang Puck restaurant? Supposedly it's really expensive. So we made it. This is 34th Street and Park Avenue. Cynthia Beale says, minor electrical work. My brother can, I do not touch it. So check out this view of the Empire State Building. Ooh, it's blocked by some of the scaffolding, but it's all right. But the Empire's looking pretty good. Hey, Brian says, Tom, you should start a garden if you want. So I planted 2 coconut trees already, and as well as a lemon tree. So I'm very excited about that. Lori Brown says, did you move to New York City? No, I moved from New York City to Miami. So I'm going to be spending 50% of my time in New York, 50% of my time in Miami. MG Reddy says, hello, good to see you. AI says, agreed. There's so much learning opportunity in self-management. That was my plan as well. Yeah, and also, so AI, to your point, I think as you grow as a real estate investor and you want a property management company to take on those tasks, I think if you've self-managed in the past, now you know what everything costs and you know if you're getting ripped off. So I think everybody should have a baseline understanding of what different parts cost, how to fix things. So when you do hire a property manager, you know they're not ripping you off. Hey, the Clary Roll says hello from Mexico. Good to see you. So we're standing on the corner of Park Avenue, 34th Street. We'll try to walk inward towards 34th and Broadway, but we'll see if we start to buffer. Hey, Alexander says, Tom, did you watch the Apple event today and any thoughts? So I was meaning to watch the Apple event. I didn't have any time to because I was so busy at work. So I think tomorrow, in between conference calls, I'm going to take a look at it. But if anybody did watch the Apple event, please put in the chat what you thought about it. Wow, the Empire State Building looks great tonight. Hey, Mike C says the Mac Studio with the M1 Ultra chip looks sick. Yeah, so Apple is kicking Intel to the curb on a lot of this stuff and bringing everything in-house. Hey, Patrick says hello from Ohio. What's up, Patrick? Hey, Carlos says hola from Brazil. Welcome everybody from Brazil. Alex says, is this winter/spring weather in New York City different from the previous year? I mean, March is usually hit or miss. It can be horrible, it can be nice. But I think we're right in between those season changes. Check this out, another Tesla taxi on Madison Avenue. We're gonna get a good look at it because it's making a turn right here. Hey, Danny says, yo from Texas. What's up, Danny? Cheryl says, hey, Tom. What's up, Cheryl? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. We are here, Madison Avenue tonight. Welcome everybody from Texas. Sunshine, City Solar Lights. This is hey y'all, good to see you. Some of the solar stocks had a pretty nice bid today in the market. David says y'all haven't lived until you're busted out a sidewalk with a sledgehammer. Good times. You know, funny you mention that. I'm actually doing that right now at my house. Jansen says, Tom, serious question. Why so much scaffolding all over? Yeah, so the reason why there's a big scaffolding problem in New York is because essentially the building inspectors will come around, and if they see something wrong with the facade of the buildings, what they'll do is they'll issue either some sort of a fine or a warning to the building owner. And they could do one of two things. They could either repair it or they could put up scaffolding. And so the scaffolding allows them to just leave the scaffolding here forever and never make the repair work. And it sort of gets them out of doing the work. But this is the brand new One Vanderbilt building here in New York. Beautiful building. Hey, Brian says, nice ride, nice Tesla. Matt G says, good evening, Tom. Matt and Lizzie checking in. What's up, Matt and Lizzie? Good to see you guys. Thank you for checking in as always. We got a great view here on the corner of 34th and Madison. We got the Empire State Building on one side and one Vanderbilt on the other. But look, that US 10-year Treasury yield actually came down now. It's well under 2%. So a 30-year fixed rate mortgage is now well under 4%. And if you remember 2 months ago on the stream, you know, front page of the Wall Street Journal, everybody was freaking out about housing is going to start to crash because of 4% interest rates. Everybody's freaking out. But I hate to say it's different this time because those are the famous last words. But, you know, a lot of the buyers now in the market are of higher quality than they were in 2008. So a lot of people are coming in with big cash down payments, or if not, they're foregoing a mortgage altogether and they're just paying cash for the property. Hey, Al Baker is here. What's up, Al? Welcome. Danny says, Tom, is that one Vanderbilt building a residence, or residential, or business? So I think the vast majority of it is commercial use. I do not think there's any residences there. How's the Empire State Building looking from this angle, everybody? But at the very top of the one Vanderbilt, there's actually one of the newest up and coming, what do they call it? The observation decks. Hey, Jose says, Tom, buildings go through what's called Local Law 11, which means buildings have to be inspected every 5 years. And if everything is safe, an engineer will be sign off on it, says Jose. Thank you for that. Abdullah is here. Welcome, Abdullah. Good to see you as always. Hope you're well. Alan Wilson says blue. 94 Sam 126 is stunning. Mike C says people with cash earning next to nothing look at real estate as a chance to get a lower risk return. Yeah, I think it's wise to buy real estate. You know, there is the old saying, it's, you know, don't try to time the real estate market, just buy real estate and wait. Or don't try to wait to buy real estate, buy real estate and wait. I think I agree with that in most cases, especially if you're well capitalized and you can make sure that the property cash flows. I think it's a good idea. Hey Alex, good to see you. John says, wish I could visit New York. Always looks amazing. Have a good one, man. John Rodriguez, thank you for joining. Jancy says, Tom, the New York City Tourism Bureau should pay you a commission on all the gorgeous shots. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Kenny says, hey Tom, happy to be here. I'm happy you're here, Kenny. Al's like, Tom, when are we going to the observation deck? I'm not sure. I'm not really one for heights. I know that's kind of a cop-out, but I'm not really a big heights guy, to be totally honest. Hey, Cynthia Beal says, Tom, you make a great shot of the Empire State Building. Tester says, thoughts on oil ETFs like OILU. So Tester. I know I've been saying this sort of ad nauseum, but I apologize. But people come in and out. But I'm not sure if you received the Behind the Street newsletter. I did make a whole section where I talked about oil. So I wrote an entire column on oil and the XLE, which is the energy sector ETF. So if you want to read that, it's the first link in the description. Just punch your email, I'll send it to you for free. But I think this energy trade is getting a little bit long in the tooth. And I think if you have any positions in like the XLE, I think any of these rallies are actually a pretty good opportunity to take some profits. You know, it's never a bad idea to take some profits. And it seems like if you turn on CNBC, if you turn on Fox Business, any sort of mainstream financial media, it's all about crowd into crude oil, crowd into energy. But a lot of these big players, and well, us, we've been in this energy trade for a while, so we're going to have a ton of liquidity to be able to unwind our positions. But I think last I checked, the ticker symbol CL, which is the crude oil futures contract, I think it traded as high as 130, but it's settled down to like 125 now. Hey, Horatio Snipes is here. Good to see you. Retired Florida guy says, hey, Tom. Who is going to pay to have Ukraine rebuilt? Who is going to bail out Russia when she is financially distorted? Will it fall to the U.S. taxpayer? I think that probably world central banks will just print the money. So in relation, yeah, it'll fall onto the taxpayers. You know, they'll probably use this crisis as an excuse to print more money, issue bonds and debt, things like that. But I think we should rebuild Ukraine for the Ukrainian people. Wow, I think this is actually a better shot, guys. What do you think? Look at this. Check this out. And it's actually changing. Does anybody know what colors represent tonight? Kenny says the Empire State Building is changing colors. Why is that? I'm not too sure, but... Oh, and here's the Herald Towers. I think this is where our good friend Carol lived at one point. But I think it may be because of International Women's Day. Is that correct, everybody? Ah, I was right. British Grey. Bingo. Our pal British Grey from Tampa, Florida, says it is lit up for International Women's Day. Jared Covey, what's up, Jared? Good to see you, my friend. Okay, everybody, this is the moment of truth. Usually Midtown has been a little bit squirrely, so we'll see if we could still stream. Let me know if we start buffering. Hey, Robert Carmel says beautiful. Good to see you. Hey, Dino says, hi, Tom. Behind the Street number 18 is bigger and better than ever. Who needs IBD? Hey, Dino, I really appreciate that. And anybody who's been reading my work. If you guys are enjoying the newsletter, please feel free to share. Hey, Danny Kennedy says, Tom, who is your wireless carrier? So right now we're using Verizon. But for some reason, Danny, over the past couple streams, anytime we passed 34th Street, the stream just went dead. Hey, William Creech says, hey, Tom, I just sent the link to my girlfriend. She's watching that too. Appreciate that, William Creech, and I hope you're having a good Tuesday. All right, moment of truth, guys. So if the stream goes out, I apologize, but we've been just having to deal with the internet issues. So let's see if we're good. Well, I think they're doing carrier aggregation. I think they're turning down the 3G network and turning down a lot of the CDMA network. Wow, Latha says, I'm actually about to get rid of Verizon and go to a new carrier. It's good so far? Okay. Lockjaw said it's buffering, so I'm not sure. Whew, I don't know where to walk. I think we'll be good, but I'll give you guys one more shot of the Empire. This has been an Empire State Building kind of stream tonight. So everybody's saying it's good for them. It's good. Abdullah says we're good. Okay. All right, so let's try to... Ruby's like, Tom, just tiptoe and you'll have good reception. We'll try it. It looks like something's cooking here at Macy's. Okay, I think we are good. Maybe they fixed it, but we'll see. Yeah, Alexander's like, Tom, use one of Elon Musk's satellites. That's definitely the future, for sure. So I think Starlink is available to everybody in the Ukraine as well, which is good. Otto says, Tom, the Empire State colors are lit up for the ACC tournament. Very cool. David Kennedy says, thank you, Tom, for your walk. Awesome viewers. Time for dinner. Have a great walk, sir. Danny, thank you so much. And hopefully we see you on a future stream. So please come back very soon. So we're gonna make a left here on 6th Avenue and we're gonna walk up towards the Bank of China. And so there's been something that's been really just perplexing me over the past couple months. And that is the Chinese commercial paper market. And if you remember correctly, during the 2020 COVID crash, you know, the commercial paper market, it's not only in China, obviously, but globally, totally froze up. The commercial paper markets were totally frozen, and the Federal Reserve and global central banks had to come in and inject liquidity. But here's the thing that's really perplexing. The Chinese commercial paper market has now broken the lows of 2020 and are trading, the commercial paper is trading at lower valuations than it was in 2020. And the market seems to be ignoring it, but then again, is everybody just assuming that the People's Bank of China would just bail everybody out and handle it? I'm not sure, but 2 weeks ago in the Behind the Street newsletter, I wrote a small piece on it. And I think if there could be one thing that sort of triggers a massive global catastrophe, it's definitely the Chinese commercial paper market. Hey, Kenny says, will we be heading downtown tonight? So we've been spending a lot of time downtown on the streams as of late. So we're actually going to try to head uptown towards Bryant Park, which is 42nd Street near Salesforce Tower. Yeah, JK says, Tom, the price of gasoline is up and up. What's the price of the pump where you are, JK? Hey, Ken Glass says, Tom, I'm watching you on the Starlink. Works great and no extra fees, $99 for unlimited data. Ooh, that sounds amazing, Ken. Paranormal Witness Girl is here. Good to see you as always. Our pal from Florida. So if anybody here is on Twitter, we did change our Twitter handle. So if you want to see intraday market commentary and some of the equity research I post, if you want to follow Walks Wall Street on Twitter, we can connect on there. Hey, Tatiana Oliviera says, hello everybody, good to see you. Hope you're well. Kenny's here, what's up, Kenny? JK says, $1.89 a liter in Canada. Getting expensive for sure. Mike C says, I think there's so many global crises. People are starting to experience crisis fatigue. Emilio J says, Tom, if the Chinese commercial paper market goes belly up, make sure to buy a portable bidet. Oh my God. I know. Well, speaking about the Chinese commercial paper market, this is the Bank in China right here. Beautiful building, by the way. This is one of my favorite buildings in New York. Not the favorite, but one of my favorite buildings is right here above us. We'll cross the street and I'll show you guys why. Looks like a spaceship, but now we are on 6th Avenue near Bryant Park, and we are overlooking one of my favorite buildings in the city, which is the One Vanderbilt, and the New York Public Library, or as they call it, the Stephen Schwarzman Building. And Stephen Schwarzman is was a big titan on Wall Street, still is, and he made the majority of his money in leveraged buyout deals during the good old corporate raider days. I think Carl Icahn is trying to start some noise with McDonald's, I think, unfortunately. We'll see where that gets him. It looks like the Winter Village is still up. Yeah, Daryl, I heard about that. Good to see you, Daryl from Chicago, Illinois. Hey, Pacific Desert Raids. Hello, Tom and chat. An hour late, no biggie. You're right on time. The show starts when Pacific Desert Raid walks in. So good to see you, Pacific Desert Raid. Karina Thompson is here. Hey, Karina. Welcome. So we're passing Salesforce Tower. Salesforce is actually coming off of a good quarter, but in my view is actually a little bit of a bad quarter. The majority of their revenue growth came from their acquisition of Slack. So when these software companies get so big, their PEs start to normalize a bit, but obviously Mark Benioff has done a tremendous job at Salesforce. Great company to work for. Right here, Salesforce Tower. Solomon says, is the Federal Reserve printing any money? Solomon, yes. So I posted a picture, like a big picture for everybody to see of the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. So when Fed Chairman Jerome Powell comes on and virtue signals to the market that they're going to stop buying mortgage-backed securities and U.S. Treasuries, well, you don't even have to listen to him. You can completely ignore him, and you could actually go on the Federal Reserve's website and see their balance sheet in real time. So in last week's issue of Behind the Street newsletter that I wrote, it should be in your inbox, I showed a picture of the Fed's balance sheet, and it's like a very cartoonishly ridiculous hockey stick chart up and to the right. So if you want to read that article, if you type !news, NEWS, take a look at the Behind the Street newsletter, and I sent you the link where you could check the Federal Reserve's balance sheet in real time. And it doesn't look like they're slowing the asset purchases. Hey, JK says futures are green. So this is 42nd Street, Avenue of the Americas, right outside the Bank of America Tower right here. Hey, Shot by Scott. What's up, Scott? Good to see you, my friend. So right across the street is the Rolex store. And I think Rolex just announced they're going to stop doing business in Russia. Did anybody else hear that? JK says VIX is falling. You know, I'd actually really like to see a big explosion in the VIX just so we can get this correction over with, but we'll see. Hey, Edson says, hello, Tom from Brazil. Welcome, everybody from Brazil. JC says Powell is hoping no one is paying attention. Yeah, because I mean, think about it. Who here in the chat really monitors the Federal Reserve's balance sheet online? Myself included. Not usually. Sometimes I'll check it. Yeah, JK says Rolex stop business in Russia, Tom. You're right. Yeah, Emilio J, it could be the virtue signal. It seems like everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. But I think it's just to show support. I mean, look, something has to crack. Something has to give, because there's literally no Western products and services that are going to be able to be operable in Russia. Hey, Lewis is here. Good to see you. Joey is here. What's up, Joey? Just love the buildings. We have Pacific Desert Raid. Emilio J. Good to see everybody. Lewis says, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Tom. Walks on Wall Street. What's up, Lewis? Hope you had a good Tuesday. Everybody, we got the one and only, our great moderator from Oklahoma, Lupe. What's up, Lupe? Good to see you. JK says, Tom, the 10-year treasury is rising. What is it? Where is the 10-year treasury at right now? Hey, Mick W UPS1 says Ferrari, Lamborghini, McDonald's, Starbucks, Netflix, Coca-Cola, Pepsi all appear to be the newest to bolt from Russia. Sora says, hey, what's up, Sora? Lewis is busy Tuesday, but very good. Same here. It was crazy. It's going to be even more crazy tomorrow. So supposedly, I think this is a $50,000 bathroom. Has anybody ever used the bathrooms here at Bryant Park? Incredible in here. Looks really, really unique in there. All beautiful, all brand new. Mike C says, Tom, I hope the Russian embargo works. It will give China a pause about Taiwan. JK says 1.8720 is where the 10-year U.S. Treasury is. So it's actually come up a bit. Wow. Yeah, Ruby says it's great. It's really, really clean in there. It is. That it is. Grant Link says it's supposed to be very clean. It is. Should we do a walk around Bryant Park? I think it's closed. I don't want to get screamed at. Hey, Nurlan says Starbucks, McDonald's also stopped doing business in Russia. EBITDA says, hey, Tom, hope you're having a good start to the week. EBITDA, speaking of EBITDA, here is his tower. EBITDA works at Bank of America Merrill Lynch, or BAML. So right on time. And I also think EBITDA's dad did some work with Steven Schwartzman. So pretty cool fact there. Pretty cool fact. But good to see you, EBITDA. Hope you had a good day today. I had an all right day. I was getting slammed with work. Not the best day, but hey, everything USPS with Jay says, checking in, sir. Missing my hometown. Good to see you. Please hurry back soon. Sora says, do you ever live stream the Red Steps? Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do, for sure. Cynthia Beal says, Tom, the bathroom is fancy and clean. The attendants changed the toilet paper cover. I think I've used it once, but the line is always down the block. EBITDA says, walks on Wall Street. He was a managing director at Blackstone and had the relationship with Steve outside the office. Whew, that's fantastic, man. That's awesome. So in this library, to EBITDA's point, there's actually an original copy of the book Margin of Safety by Seth Klarman, which is widely renowned as one of the greatest investment books of all time. And at a Berkshire Hathaway investor meeting, somebody had asked Warren Buffett, they said, Warren, if you could recommend one person besides yourself to really listen to about investments, who would it be? And Warren Buffett was sort of silent for a minute. He was sort of scratching his head. He's like, well, if I had to name one person, I really wouldn't name anybody, but if I had to, it would be maybe Phil Fisher and Seth Klarman. Yeah, maybe Seth Klarman. So Seth Klarman's Margin of Safety was only printed in about 2,000 copies. So if you want to buy an original, I believe they're going for almost $6,000. But if you come to the New York Public Library, you could actually schedule an appointment to sit down and read it, but you cannot take it out. You have to schedule an appointment. But Phil Fisher has a great book as well. It's called Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits by Phil Fisher. Hey, Angie says hello from Ohio. What's up, Angie? Stephen L says, Tom, you have a great voice that would be great for TV or radio. Wow, thank you, man. Appreciate that very much. Good to see you, Stephen. Hope you're enjoying the walk around New York City. So we're passing Fifth Avenue. If you look directly ahead, you can see the very top of the Chrysler Building as well. Tony says, dumb question, is it possible for oil companies to pull out of Russia? I think BP already announced that, didn't they? Could anybody in the chat correct me if I'm wrong on that? Didn't BP last week announce that they're not going to do business in Russia? Am I right on that? Is that fake news? Lupe says, I'm glad I'm not the only one who recognizes Tom's amazing voice. Appreciate you, Lupe. So, funny story about Lupe. I almost ran into Lupe during the streams, but she was not fast enough. Supposedly, I walked too fast. Falcon Space, good to see you. Yeah, Long Island Duck 52 says, thank God the wind died down. Yeah, you and me both. It was crazy windy yesterday. It was nuts. Lupe says Tom, Shell and BP withdrew as well from Russia. Alexander says yes, BP left Russia. Solomon says, Tom, do you think the Federal Reserve is going to be able to manage the debt if the dollar is replaced as the world's reserve currency? I don't think the dollar will get replaced as the world's reserve currency. Hey, Muhammad is here. Says, good evening, Tom. Hope all is well. I just wanted to let you know that Exxon left Russia. Good to see you, Robert Muhammad. Welcome. Always good to have you on the streams. Horatio Snipes says, we need to see the interior of the MetLife building, Tommy. Can we do that? Let's see if we can. Maybe we'll try to take a walk through the MetLife building. Hey, Lewis says, Walks from Wall Street, very good. Your advice on Twitter today about your sales presentation. Thank you, I appreciate that. EBITDA says, Tom, have you ever thought of starting a podcast? I've thought about it, but I think I just really like streaming. I think it's something fun to do after work. I like talking to you guys. Because I feel like the only downside of a podcast is I don't get to interact with people in real time. I think it's fun talking to you guys, because you guys are interesting people. But EBITDA, I'm thinking about doing standalone videos, so we'll see. I think it's a good idea, but more to follow on that. So this is the one and only Grand Central Station right here. Solomon Taylor says, it's always great to see you, Tom. Likewise. William Creech says, I feel to him for these CEOs, you're either way, stay or go. Mike C, good to see you. Tony says, thanks, I try not to watch the news. I try not to watch the news either. But sometimes I need to. EBITDA says, you could do a live recording of the podcast with Q&A after. They just released the podcast after. Win-win. So EBITDA, that's actually exactly what I was thinking about doing. I think EBITDA has a creative mind. I think I'm going to try that, actually. So maybe we'll do the first one. What I'm thinking about doing is doing a voiceover of the newsletter, and walking from the Mighty Bowl to the New York Stock Exchange is probably going to be a 15-minute video. And then at my house, I'll just do a voiceover of the newsletter. So for those people who don't want to read the newsletter, they could just listen to it and look at Wall Street or something like that. Mike C says, I figure if there's anything important in the news, Tom will let us know in the live stream. Ooh, that's too much pressure. Mike, that's way too much pressure. Just kidding. Yeah, I'm not a big politics guy, but sometimes dealing in the financial markets, some things do affect it. I mean, that's really the only reason why we're talking about politics on the channel is because of the Russia-Ukraine situation. Before that, we really only cover a company's earnings reports and sort of talk about the real estate market. Triple G says, Tom, if you're ever in FIDI and the U.S. Customs House is open, please go in and record the rotunda in there for the viewers' awesome history. I will if we're allowed to. I'm not sure if there's cameras allowed in there. Is there cameras allowed? Not sure. Hey, XOXX Bob, good to see you. John L says YouTube is reportedly paying podcasters to film their show. 26 podcasters are getting $300,000. Wow. Latha says 3 architectural icons. Good to see you, Latha. Yeah, I mean, so that's the only thing. So about really nice buildings to, I think that was Triple G's point. Sometimes you're not allowed to film inside. We'll get yelled at, things like that, and I don't really want to cause trouble. So that's why we tend to not film inside of places too much. But it just depends. It just depends on their policies. It's all BS, but Mike C says, Tom's live stream is my podcast. Hey, Jeff Pickles says, love watching your vlogs, Tom, from here in England. Very cool. I got to get to England. Never been. Would love to go. Brian, good to see you. EBITDA says, Tom, have you ever heard of the ETF COWZ? I have not. What is that, EBITDA? What is the sector they invest in? Cows. What is the I guess what are the sectors they invest in? Hey, NMB045 says, hey Tom, I visit New York City for 10 days. Awesome, man. Should I hotel it or Airbnb? So in my opinion, I think you should do Airbnb. But then again, a lot of people on the chat are definitely not in agreement with me. But I think you should take the leap of faith and get an Airbnb on the Upper West Side. EBITDA says it's the top 100 companies based on free cash flow yield. Really? I gotta check that out. Hey, Daniel G, what's up? Good evening, everybody. I gotta get some water. EBITDA says I go with the Ritz over Airbnb. I think it'd be cool to stay in a brownstone or something like that on the Upper West Side. EBITDA says, yeah, Tom, they're like 10% this year, beat the S&P last year. So EBITDA, what are the sort of expense ratio on that thing? The expense ratio is probably crazy. Emilio J says, Tom, I boycotted Airbnb when they banned Tim Dillon. Airbnb banned Tim Dillon? Daniel G's from Buenos Aires, Argentina says, definitely Airbnb it. Orlando says, Tom, what street are you walking on? We are on 42nd. Ah, 0.49 expense ratio. Hey, War Walker, what's up? Just get some OJ Simpson. Tom, that's a bad cough. Yeah, my throat is getting dry. I haven't drank water in like probably 5 hours. Dutchman's like, Tom, but I do like your political rants about the stock market and making trading illegal. That I agree with. And says Action Kid left New York for Southern Florida. I think he's gonna love Southern Florida. I have a place there too. Well, they do call it the sixth borough of New York. Our pal Razzle Dazzle says Airbnb for sure. I stayed at Saunders across from Battery Park. Best experience ever. What's up, Razzle Dazzle? You're gonna be in New York soon too. EBITDA says, Tom, they also have an ETF with the same strategy, but for small caps with the ticker CALF. Hilarious. Let me take a screenshot of that. I actually want to look at that prospectus. I've never heard of that though. I wonder who manages those. So if anybody's interested in having the best dollar pizza, so again, make sure you listen to what I'm saying. Best dollar pizza, not the best pizza, but the best dollar slice. The best dollar slice in New York City is right down this block. You know, we might as well go. We're not going to get a dollar slice, but this is the best one so far that I've been to. Hey, Kilo Whiskey Juliet is here. Good to see you, Kilo Whiskey Juliet. Yeah, so EBITDA, does it say who manages those funds, though? I would be interested to see that. Cosmos Cares has never tried it. It's actually pretty good for a dollar slice. Mike C says, can you still even get a dollar slice? I think you can. It may be cheaper than $1. Looks like it's 99 cents. Lay this as Tom goes into the first pizza joint and the chat goes wild. Well, I mean, not for nothing, in all honesty. This is my favorite dollar slice place. All the other dollar slice places are absolutely horrible. This place is actually good pizza. Not even joking. So for any native New Yorkers, try it out. So Cosmo, maybe you can come here tomorrow. Here, let me put the brightness up. So this is it, 99-cent fresh pizza. A large pie is only $8. Alan Wilson says, Tom, can we try it out? I wish we could, but I never carry cash on me at any time. But if you want to go here, this is the only dollar slice I'd recommend. It's right outside Grand Central Station. This place is fantastic. Also, there's this other place called Walk to Walk, which this place is now closed. But during COVID, I actually used to go in here sometimes, but it looks like COVID unfortunately got the best of them and they're out of business. But this place is good too. EBITDA says, Tom, I just heard a crazy stat about one of the companies I own. Apparently 0.5% of global GDP goes through their warehouses. That ETF is managed by Pacer. Interesting, EBITDA. So EBITDA, what is your take on wheat futures? Wheat futures have been limit up for the past 5 days. But what is your take on that also? EBITDA, what do you think? Do you think that this energy trade is getting a bit extended? Do you think, the long XLE, do you think people should be selling into this strength, or do you think it's a good idea to start a new position? I think I'm probably going to take a lot of this liquidity to unwind some of the energy positions. EBITDA says, I always carry at least $100 on me. You never know when you need the cash. That is true. That is true. Yeah, I probably should carry some cash, but Ann says the pizza slice is like 2 slices. So since we're at Grand Central Station, we might as well take a little walk around the inside. Robert says Tom is a millennial, probably hasn't even seen a $100 bill in his life. So I think supposedly, and the only reason why I know this is because I was taking a class, obviously when I was in college. It was an economics class and it was about demographics. And supposedly, according to KPMG, Generation Z starts in 1995. So I think I'm one of those Generation Z people. Not too happy about it. But supposedly, 1995 was the first year that the Generation Z started. Paranormal Witness Girl says, I'm a millennial and carry cash, especially in New York. I mean, I just use Apple Pay. The reason why I like it is because I use my phone as a wallet, so I can never lose my credit card. And if I lose my phone, I just go back on the computer and just lock it down via the MDM. You could use like a Scale Fusion or a Code Proof, which are both good softwares. All right. So we are now inside Grand Central Station. Tony says, Tom, it would be smart to have a little cash. Imagine a cyber attack. Very true. EBITDA says, what happens if your phone is dead and no internet service? That's also very true. So check out, I think this is one of my favorite spots. Hey, Nick Rocks is here. What's up, Nick? Says, loving Apple Pay. But not every place is equipped to take it. That is true. Amon says, have you ever did or done a walking video in the Bronx? We have not. EBITDA. Class says, damn. Jerry says that dude ripped his face off. Good to see you, Jerry. Robert says, I thought Generation Z was the same as millennials. So I think Generation Z is the newest generation, or maybe I think there's one generation that's actually quite newer. XOXX Bob is who's screaming. Sometimes at the east end of Grand Central Station, you'll have the some of the drug addicts and the derelicts. Bob says the echo makes that sound extra creepy. Man, Grand Central Station is looking amazing tonight. If you guys are enjoying the stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video. And subscribe if you are new. I think this is my favorite part about Grand Central, the American flag over there. NMB045 says, Tom, if 1995 is the border between millennial and Gen Z, you are permitted to call yourself a millennial, in my opinion. I'm with it. I'm down. Feels like a museum in here tonight. Very quiet. Frank Gonzalez says, Tom, be honest, did you ever dreamed of having this much success when you first started streaming? So I wanted to have a lot of people join the streams, but I honestly totally never thought we would have so many people joining the streams. Honestly, no. But I think it's fantastic because there's a lot of smart people here. I think the best thing that has come about the live streaming is you'd be surprised at some of the people we have here. Extremely smart, extremely talented people that I learn a lot from. So all of you it's a very good circle of competence, I guess, to be around and share ideas. So that is what I'm most thankful for. So thank you, everybody. Alan Wilson says, payphone, what is that? So supposedly there's one payphone operable in New York. I think there's only one operable payphone here. Lewis says, Walks on Wall Street, how disruptive do you think blockchain technology will be? I think it will be very disruptive, but I think in what's called like wave one growth phases of technology, a lot of companies just use it as marketing tactics, and there's really not a lot of applicable use cases. But I think over the next 10 years, there'll be a lot of applicable use cases. Wikipedia says millennials range from 1981 to 1996. Class says Gen Z is the TikTok generation. So a quick poll, does anybody use TikTok here? I just can't stand that. Just in my opinion, I can't bring myself to download it.
Attention customers, a reminder, proper wearing of a mask that covers the nose.
But supposedly TikTok is the #1 downloaded application.
Regardless of social distancing and vaccination status. If you forgot yours, please ask a station ambassador.
But I think that ticker symbol NET or Cloudflare, one of their biggest customers is TikTok. Tom says no. Michelle says no, I don't. Falcon Space. Yeah, Photos from Around New York says YouTube is trying to recreate the same thing with YouTube Shorts. I mean, Alphabet is another free cash flow machine. XXX says you got banned from Twitter. Jeez, what'd you do? So I honestly think Twitter is the most resourceful social media platform, especially for people in like tech sales or finance. If anybody's ever been on financial Twitter, there's actually some unbelievable talented money managers on there. So I would suggest anybody, if you want to learn a lot, definitely get a Twitter. Jamie C4132 says, hey Tom, there's that Apple store and the dongle you need. I know. But here's the thing. I think this one is closed until further notice. And we're just going to walk to the other side. I don't want to be near this guy. I think he's having potentially an episode of some sort. Pacific Desert Raid says, Tom, TikTok has ruined a lot of good songs. So this is the famous clock tower in the middle of Grand Central Station. And you can take the Metro North here. Al Baker says, Tom, thank you for showing us around Grand Central Station. No problem. Thank you for being here. John says, hey Tom, Twitter has been so useful for my language learning. Ah, very cool. Real conversations that help understand context. Agreed. That is true. There's actually a very good Korean language channel on Twitter that I follow. If you want to connect with us on Twitter, you could follow at Walks Wall Street. So a good resource that I've been using to learn languages, on YouTube, there's 24-hour live streams of people teaching languages. And it's a continuous 24-hour live stream. So what I would do is just type in whatever language you want to learn and just type in 24/7 after it on YouTube. And chances are there's going to be a 24-hour stream of people speaking Korean, Italian, English, really any language you want to learn. Yeah, Duolingo is also another really good application. You're right. Paranormal Witness Girl. Hey, Arsenal Fan 13 is here. What's up, my friend? This is Tom. I heard Eastside Access is supposed to add Long Island Railroad trains to Grand Central. I'm not sure when it's going to open. Yeah, I mean, they've been saying that for quite some time. It would be very convenient for me. I would love to take the Long Island Railroad and get off at Grand Central as opposed to Penn Station. So hopefully that happens. Cosmo Scary says, my favorite language app is Speakly. I've never heard of that. I'm gonna have to download that, Cosmo. Yeah, Class says, yeah, YouTube channels have some really good language learning. The Austin Tennis says, Tom, do you have any thoughts on the company Stripe? A friend recently got a TN1 to work in Chicago from Toronto through Stripe. Yeah, Stripe's a good company. It's one of those unicorn sort of companies, though. So just be aware of that. But Stripe is good. He's going to get a lot of good fintech experience. I would do it. The only thing, Austin Tennis, does he want to work in the U.S. or does he want to work in Toronto? If he wants to work in the U.S., I would do it 100%. But the Austin Tennis is our pal. Former investment banker turned software salesperson. So very cool. Shop by Scott's is between the new Mac Studio and the new Mac display. They may be getting $6,000 out of me. Yeah, the M1 Ultra processor is insane. Yes, so Shop by Scott, somebody else was talking about that in the chat. I didn't have any time to look or to jump on Apple's sort of new event day today. But supposedly there was some interesting products and services. I think the biggest speculation from a lot of analysts on Wall Street was supposedly they were supposed to launch some sort of 5G iPhone SE, but I guess that didn't happen. Hey, Abdullah is here. What's up, Abdullah? What is that? Does anybody know what this thing is? Oh, it's a bike lock. That's actually that's an amazing idea. So I guess this thing lifts up, you put your bike in here, and it closes. Wow, that's actually like an amazing idea. Bringing secure bike parking to the cities. That's a fantastic idea. A bike locker. That's a $1 million idea right there. People would probably pay $15 a month for that. I think I would too, to prevent my bike from getting stolen. D Dirty says that's bike storage. Saw them in DC. This is the first time I've seen it in New York. It's an incredible idea. You could probably sell a subscription on that. $15 a month. You could lock your bike up. Al Baker says, I wonder if it was on Shark Tank. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. So here we have the Yale Club, where our pal Jeff Bezos sometimes comes and hangs out from time to time. Yeah, somebody says entrepreneurial king level. Mike C, it's $50 a month. There's no way. I don't think anyone would pay $50. All the time, says Tommy, you can invest in it on Republic. Can you really? Wabi says, Tom, have you been up to this One Vanderbilt summit? I have not, but a lot of other people have. I think Cosmo has. Stephen L says, would you bike in the city? Too many wild drivers. Oh, there's Cosmo coming out. I won't show what he looks like, but sometimes Cosmo hangs out. Yes, so Triple G, I saw that. So that's the company responsible for SolarWinds, isn't it? I think they beat out Microsoft for that acquisition. Jay says Apple just further surpassed Intel in their ongoing war with the M1 Ultra. So I have the new iMac that has the M1 chip in it, and that thing is crazy fast. But yeah, Apple is trying to diversify away from Intel and produce their own chips. So in the iMac, the previous generation iMac has the new M1 chip. That's the one I have, and it is crazy, crazy fast. Alan Wilson, I do. I think Cash Jordan was just in Miami, Florida. He is a very, very successful real estate guy. Tommy Chen says Intel has been lagging behind. That they have been. You're right. Good to see you, Tommy. Lighten Up says, I love Yale U. Welcome to all of our Yale people. So Madison Avenue here. We're gonna walk over to Fifth Avenue. Hopefully the buffering subsides. But this is the old Brooks Brothers I was telling you about. This Brooks Brothers is now a coffee shop. Wabi says, are you long or short Apple? I am neither. Oh, actually, that's not true. I mean, technically in my IRA, I just dollar cost average into the S&P 500. And I think right now Apple makes up about almost 7% of the S&P. So I am very long Apple in relation to the exposure I get from the index. This place actually looks pretty nice inside. Okay, I see Grant Link. Good to see you, Grant. Welcome. Hey, Tommy Chen says, I dollar cost average in the VTI too. This market is really hard to day trade. Yeah, so the market today was extremely volatile. Crazy intraday swings. But in my IRA, right, since I'm 26, you know, even if we have a 50% decline in the S&P 500, my thesis is that I believe that companies within the S&P are going to continue to grow their earnings or compound out their earnings over time. And I think S&P 500 earnings will be higher when I'm 85 as opposed to where they are today. And I also think the S&P 500 is going to look a lot different. I think the vast majority of companies in the S&P right now will not be in the S&P 60 years from now. But Tommy Chen, good to see you. Jones says, has anybody read Never Split the Difference? So I haven't, but I think EBITDA had recommended me that book, so I'm definitely going to read the book. But everybody, I did send out, just for people who are just joining, I did send out the newest edition of the Behind the Street newsletter, and I included a link of the top buys of institutional investors on Wall Street. So if you want to read that and sign up for free, if you type !news, NEWS, in the chat, Nightbot will drop the link to the Behind the Street newsletter that I send out every Monday. So once a week, I'll send a macro-focused newsletter to people. We'll go this way, covering not only the US markets, but emerging markets as well. Hey, Lady O's here. What's up, Lady O? Yes, tomorrow's looking like another messy day. Supposedly it's gonna snow tomorrow. As crazy as that seems, supposedly it is gonna snow. Or has the possibility of snowing. Hey, Jonathan, what's up? Jonathan Richards says, hey, Tom, I really like the new layout on the newsletter. Thank you, Jonathan. The only thing I need to fix on that is the quality of the infographics there. Because for some reason, when I upload pictures, it comes in at like 720. But on LinkedIn, it comes in a little bit better. Lighten Ups is nice hanging out with you guys. 4-bit night, y'all. Thank you, Lighten Up. Good to see you. Thank you for joining as always. Lay this is good call, Tom. Yeah, we try to avoid the crazies. I don't want to deal with it. If I see something that doesn't look right, I tend to try to avoid it. Hey, Vinny Castellano from Staten Island. Good to see you. Thank you for joining tonight. Lady O says, yep, it's winter and spring muscling with each other. Yeah, March is a very volatile month for the weather, for sure. Hey, Alexander says, did anybody see Bill Ackman's comments that World War III has already started? You know, I didn't see that. Did he post that on Twitter? You know, if you think about it, and not to get too political, but I mean, my thoughts on the situation is Europe is going to really need to start to stand up to Putin. You know, somebody's going to need to stand up to this guy, because let's say if he takes Ukraine, who's to say he doesn't push further west? Right? Nobody is stopping this guy from pushing further west. So somebody needs to step up to this guy. Wow, is this a PSG store? So Paris Saint-Germain, very famous soccer team. I guess they have their own store here on 5th Avenue. I never knew that. Hey, Alexander, this is Tom. He gave an interview to CNBC and made those comments during the interview. I gotta watch that. I was totally not tuned in today because I was so busy at work. It was crazy. Ah, got it. So it seems like it was a CNBC interview. Shot by Scott. It's like PSG is an absolute mess. Yeah, Al Baker makes a good point about the SPACs. So Al Baker, if you remember, well, not many people were watching this live stream that 6 months ago. But 6 months ago, I told everybody, I'm like, stay away from all of these SPACs. They're garbage. So a SPAC stands for Special Purpose Acquisition Company. And the vast majority of them was only a way for big managers on Wall Street to cash out. And almost all of these SPACs are trading below their offer price, because they're all garbage companies that are not profitable, and some of them are even pre-revenue, and they've been bid up to crazy valuations, and now there's a ton of lawsuits. I'm like, anybody with the littlest bit of investing experience could have seen this coming from a mile away. They're all garbage, these SPACs, except for like one or two. I think there was one SPAC, there was like a gambling company that's profitable, but besides that, hey, the Austin Tennis is Tom. Early in your sales days, on cold calls, when you receive the objection, just send me an email. I usually say, there's a lot I could send. What specifically would you like to see? What was your trick? Well, I guess it just depends on what you were, what you're selling, but I would get that all the time too. But I'm gonna say, okay, instead of sending you an email, I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna send you a blank meeting maker, and you could change the date and the time. So what I would do is I'd say, no problem, I'll send you a meeting maker. Because the last thing you want to do is try to keep the guy on the phone, because that's disrespectful. You don't want to be, you want to respect people's time. And especially nowadays, people, they're not just saying that to get you off the phone. A lot of the times they're really just busy. You're calling them out of the blue. So if they say, hey, just shoot me an email that's better, I'd say, okay, I'll do you one better. Give me your email address and I'm going to send you a blank meeting maker, and you adjust it to the date and time of your choosing. And 9 times out of 10, they would just adjust that meeting maker to the date and the time. And then sometimes they would kick the can down the road a little bit. But since that meeting maker now is on their calendar, they're more apt to just join it. If you just send them a meeting maker, or if you send them an email, Gummy Bears is Tom. I went to see the Batman movie today. It was excellent. One bite. Everybody knows the rules. Good to see you. I didn't even know there was a Batman movie out up until about a couple hours ago. Jonathan Richards says it's been crazy busy at work for me too, but that is a good thing. Tommy Chen says it's really good, you should watch it. I'm probably gonna watch it. I haven't been to the traditional movie theater in a long, long time. So now we are walking past Radio City Music Hall. Could we get a quick time check in the chat? I just want to make sure I am on time to catch my train. Mike C says, I guess monetization of the stream goes to Toto. Probably, I think it does. I always get demonetized, but just as long as I don't get any strikes, I'm happy. Yeah, Gummy Bear says, Tom, have you ever been up to the Capitol in Albany? Not recently, but I would like to. So that is the News Corporation building, and they actually just bought Investors Business Daily for about $250 million. The Austin Tennis is, where do you work out of while you're in New York? Are you still using the WeWork? I am. So I do have a WeWork office now that I enjoy quite a bit. It's actually pretty cheap too. But Austin Tennis, I'm not sure if you heard my response, but try it next time. Try the meeting maker thing. And let me know how it works for you. 3030 Tom is here, good to see you. Tina Toomey says, thank you for the lovely walk. I love listening to your ideas and thoughts. Well, thank you for being here. We appreciate all of our new viewers. Because I think we just reached over 13,000 subscribers on the channel. So thank you everybody for being here, walking with me every day after work and hanging out. The Austin Tennis says, hopefully WeWork coffee is up to your standards. It's pretty good. I'll definitely try out the meeting maker strategy. The Austin Tennis, the only other thing that I could tell you is that the sales is really not about like the trick, the thing to say, or, you know, being a smooth talker. It's about sticking to a relentless process. So some of the best enterprise tech salespeople I know, these people are so ridiculously disciplined, like it's crazy. They wake up at the same time and they do the activity. You know, if they say, I need to set 9 appointments for this week, you know, they move hell and high water and they're gonna make sure they set 9 appointments. And if you just do the activity, what's gonna happen is your sales skills are gonna come along with it later. Because the more people you talk to, you know, the first couple calls you make, you're gonna sound like an idiot, right? And you are. I was the same thing, like very nervous, your voice is gonna shake, you know, your face is gonna turn red, but that's normal, that's a process of life. But if you keep hammering on it and doing it every day like crazy, you're gonna get naturally good. It's gonna be like second nature. So the best salespeople that I know in tech are the people who just stick to a process and they never stop depending on the results. So even if they fail for 2-3 months, they continuously stick to the process. So if you can stick to it, you're gonna be really successful. Yeah, the Austin Tennis. So, oh, here's another Tesla. So many Tesla taxis here in the city. But Austin Tennis, if you want to go to that place, it is Black Fox Coffee near the Deutsche Bank on Wall Street. Hey, Liz is here. This is my first time commenting. As a female CPA, soccer player, investor, former New Yorker, it's so fun to hear your thoughts and everyone's comments. Liz, awesome. Thank you for being here, Liz. Love soccer. Big soccer player myself. But Liz, thank you for joining, commenting. Yeah, a lot of people will email me that it's working, and I think that's awesome too. So thanks, everybody. Yeah, photos from around New York's like gotta get yourself a Tesla. Hey, Pond Viewer 12 says, thanks for mentioning Fox's acquisition of IBD. Yeah, I think that closed about a year ago now. So IBD is a California-based company. I think they're based out of LA. But so now, and I think it was a good acquisition because if you think about it, you know, you have the Wall Street Journal, you have Barron's, and now you have IBD all under one umbrella. I think the acquisition makes sense. I think they could have got a lot more money, but so here's Bobby Van's Steakhouse. Kirby's tech sales requires you to be a trusted advisor and not a used car salesperson, as they say. 100%. 100,000%, because you need, you know, as Kirby says, you need to, you know your way around like infrastructure, right? So if you're positioning a specific type of software, it's a big, especially if you're in enterprise sales. So in enterprise sales, the sales cycle can be 12 months long. There's been some deals that I've been working on for almost 2 years, right? Because when you get up to the level of selling to big enterprises or Fortune 500 companies, there's extensive vetting processes and procedures at these companies. And if you're implementing one software, well, chances are that company uses 12 other software that needs to integrate accordingly with the software you're selling. Right? So it is a whole team effort. You have to be very sharp. You have to understand different API integrations. It's really a lot, but it can be extremely lucrative. So it's a very good point you make. But the most important thing is to take care of your customers and build out your book of business. Because if you go and work at another tech company and you're focused on a specific vertical, you know, you could take your customers with you wherever you go. But you need to do the right thing. You need to be a trusted advisor. So when you're a new account executive or a new enterprise account executive, don't think about the money. Right, the money will come. Focus on building your book of business, a book of customers that are going to be willing to sing your praises and refer you to their competitors. Hey, wedding of James and Carly. Says, hey Tom, I worked in tech sales for 8 years for a major company. Activity and mindset helps you succeed. I'm thankful for the big bonus checks over the years. 100%, that is awesome. Definitely it does take a very positive mindset. 1,000% agree. The Austin Tennis is what we've arrived at Tom's favorite spot in Manhattan. Joey Garcia is here. Welcome, Joey. Good evening. Hall says, we have not done anything. All right, so I think we'll head back to the Moynihan train station so I can get the train home. I do have to be up rather early. Hey, CS is here. Carlos is here. Good to see you, Carlos. Gummy Bears says, Tom, what's your favorite bakery item? So has anybody heard of the bakery called Tout de Jour? I think it's a Korean bakery. But if you ever get their milk bread, it's extremely good. I would say the milk bread. Hey, Zoe Galaxy says, which street are you crossing? We are crossing 48th Street and Broadway. And I think we just passed Barclays too, which is a big investment bank. And right in front of us is Morgan Stanley. Sometimes you'll see a lot of their like managing directors or analysts or associates on this thing. Maybe they'll highlight some people for the International Women's Day. Yes, Lady O. That's exactly what it is. It's fantastic. And I think there's cream inside of it too. Very good. Hey, UPS ones, Tom, do you know how many miles you walk per night? I think we probably do about 5, maybe sometimes more. Zoe Galaxy says, wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it. Shop by Scott, that's like Sbarro's. You know, speaking of a funny pizza review, the Barstool Sports pizza review of Sbarro's at 34th Street was also hilarious if you want to check that out. But by far, the funniest one is the Joe and Pat's. So if anybody wants a pretty good laugh, if you type in Joe and Pat's Barstool Sports pizza review, you're gonna start dying, crying, laughing. It is absolutely hilarious. Joe and Pat's. Paranormal Witness Girl, I will. Mauricio Snipes says Joe and Pat's is a classic. Agreed. So I think EY is over here. Our pal Techno Pink from the Dominican Republic works here. Tom says the Joe and Pat's, the plastic machine is a classic. It's just a wild review. Talk about a wild review. And those two guys are walking out of the pizza shop and they're like, horrible pizza, when it's one of the best pizza shops in the city. Melanin Maya says, hi, do you offer mentorship program for trading? No. To be honest, the only thing you really need, everything is available for free on the internet. I would recommend you just read Investors Business Daily. Read the book One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch. I would read that book. I would also read How to Make Money in Stocks by William J. O'Neill and Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits by Phil Fisher. And I think if you just really study those books, I think you'll be fine. Also, if you want some sort of a mentoring program, what I would do is I would just apply to one of the investment banks in the sales and trading department, where you will get very solid training, as well as you will build your network. And there's a lot of job openings and opportunities and things like that if you are interested in working. Although the sales and trading department of the investment bank is getting all but smaller, obviously due to high frequency trading and algorithmic trading. But a lot of the banks do have good analyst programs where you would learn a lot and build your network. But not for nothing, a lot of the books are, you can pretty much get anything for free online via PDF, things like that. Hey, Valentina says, hey, Tom. Good walk in that spot. Hope you're well. What's up, Valentina? Good to see you. Stephen L says, do most banks still only recruit from Ivy Leagues? Yeah, so they tend to recruit out of target schools, but it's not unheard of where an investment bank will hire a person from just a regular... Oh, we're going to start a Twitch stream now. But it's not uncommon where investment banks will hire from just regular colleges and universities. There's one university or college here in New York called Baruch College, which is actually a CUNY school, which they tend to actually recruit. Which they actually recruit quite a bit of students out of Baruch. But then again, Bernard Baruch is a very famous finance school. So we're going to continue to walk down. The stream may be a little bit more shaky than usual due to the gimbal being dead. Yeah, the Austin Tennis is John Jay. If you want to work in like compliance or regulatory positions within the bank, I would say John Jay is a good school for that. Yeah, Roberts is NYU as well. NYU has that Stern School of Business. Jerry, this is the only thing that isn't free online is common sense. Yeah, Grant Links is the good old CD scammers. I don't understand why they're selling CDs. Does anybody even have a CD player anymore? Like who actually has a CD player? I wouldn't even know how to play any of that. Sorry, everybody. Tina B says I do. Steven, I agree with you. Yeah, somebody says back in those CD burning days. Alan Wilson says technology once again passes by me. Hey, Marty Lewis says I have a CD player, would never take a CD on the street. Yeah, I think they just try to like swindle tourists out of money and stuff like that. But see, like I don't know. I was gonna comment on it, but I will yield. Unless you guys want to know my thoughts. Just kidding. I'm gonna yield. Ooh, photos from around New York says you have a vinyl record player. Very cool. Tina Toomey says yes. No, he won't. So everybody, tomorrow on the stream, we will be covering CrowdStrike. Also, we will be doing a preview to the CPI numbers. So just keep in mind, we will have the Consumer Price Index released on Thursday. And on Friday is the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index survey, which is extremely, extremely important. We're going to cover all of that and more this week on the stream. So stay tuned. Man, we've been streaming for 2.5 hours already. Al Baker says, I think CrowdStrike will beat earnings. Yeah, you know, an interesting thing, we've been seeing a lot of companies actually post really good earnings reports, beat and raise quarters, but the reaction to earnings has been quite negative across the board. And I think that's very indicative of the market that we're in. Hey, Ruby Falcone says, great stream as always. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Ruby. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I do this with Miss Glenn.
Yeah, I mean, consensus on the street is for a 7.8% reading in the CPI. So if you guys want to connect with us on the Discord, we do now have a Walks on Wall Street Discord. Feel free to check that out in the link in the description. Also, if you guys want to connect with us on LinkedIn, we do have the Behind the Street LinkedIn page up if you want to check that out. And follow us on Twitter at Walks Wall Street. Tomorrow we may be streaming from Lower Manhattan, depending on the weather. I want to try to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge, but that will be tentative based on the weather. So we're passing 7th Avenue. I think this is, I want to say 41st? I think so. Yeah, the Austin Tennis's Brooklyn Bridge stream would be amazing. I think it's supposed to rain and snow tomorrow. So depending on if we have crazy weather, we might, I gotta see.
I don't know why. I can't stop.
If it's really bad weather, we probably won't stream, but we'll see. So this is 37th Street headed downtown. We're about to hit into the Pennsylvania Station. We can get the Long Island Railroad, New Jersey Transit, and Metro North. Not Metro North. Not Metro North. Emilio J says CPI will be a real face ripper. Yeah, I think the CPI is going to rip a lot of faces off. Emilio J thinks it's going to come in at about 8.1%. I guess we'll have to see. I think it's going to come in hot too. I think the next 2 months may come in extremely hot, especially since we have oil prices going crazy. Mac 914 says it's still cold. It is still cold, unfortunately. Indeed it is. Hey, Vang Chung is here. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Hey, Satish. Good to see you, Satish. We're just getting towards the end of the stream here. We will end at 34th. So if you guys enjoyed the stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video. And we will see everybody tomorrow. Once again, if you want to sign up to read the Behind the Street newsletter, if you type !news, N-E-W-S in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link to the newsletter where I send it out every single Monday. This is another 99-cent pizza store, not the best one. The best 99-cent pizza store is near Grand Central Station. Nothing against these guys, but just saying. So Daniel G, thank you for joining. Abdullah, Al Baker, Paranormal Witness Girl, all of our moderators, Laytha, Cosmos Scary, Lady O, Sunshine After Rain, Alan Wilson, Muhammad, Liz. Appreciate it, Liz. Thank you for joining. Thank you for reading. Jazz Biz, Sabrina. Who else we have? Photos from around New York, shot by Scott. Valentina, Daryl B. The one and only Austin Tennis. Good to see you. Keep plugging away. Austin Tennis. NNB 045. Vane Chung, thank you so much. And to the Mighty Bull, have a good night wherever you are, because there's always a bull market somewhere, and you just need to know where to look. I'll see everybody right back here, the greatest city on earth, tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody.